I think it adapts to different environments, and it needs to. That's, I suppose, part of what leadership is. And there's a time in which it's really critical to be listening. I think that in a university, it's also ideas matter, and being able to articulate those ideas and be persuasive is really important in a university environment, perhaps in all environments, but especially in a university environment. So I would say that I think one of my strengths is that I am articulate and that I am persuasive. Some would say, too tenacious, that when I get the bit between my teeth, I don't let it go. But that's one of my qualities, I think. Persistent. But also trying to motivate people around, I try to motivate people around a vision, try to inspire them that the institution or that they can be doing something different and better, and get them excited about an idea, either directly or through exposing them to those ideas indirectly. Part of leadership is also change management, and as I said, the university, being an old university and being one which in general is doing well and therefore doesn't have any sense of crisis, doesn't have a sense of we've got to do something to change here. They're not necessarily well disposed to change, and so bringing about change is the biggest challenge that you face in an environment which doesn't think that that's necessary. And there are a number of different strategies that I use for that. One of them is to build a movement for change, or build the number of people through slow incremental steps. So you start with discussions in small groups or with people who you think are like-minded around an issue, and then develop a larger group, perhaps organize a conference or a seminar about it, and start expanding that until it seems to be an idea whose time has come, almost of its own accord, and it acquires a critical mass. That's one change strategy. A different one, which I think works especially in a university like Cape Town and Wits and places that have those strong traditions, is to expose academics to developments around the world, but particularly to perhaps give them a sense that we've fallen behind. There's nothing that will rattle academics at UCT as much as a sense that we're falling behind. So, for example, if I wanted to promote a particular change, this was something that I did when I was at Wits around curricular reform. I was the Dean of the Health Sciences there, curriculum reform in medical education there. And my sense was that Wits's curriculum had got stuck in the 1960s, hadn't really changed, but no one thought it needed to change. And there were two things that I did, which I also do here in different ways. One was to bring the Dean of Harvard Medical School to Wits for 2 weeks and just say to him, tell us what you see and give us a seminar at the end of 2 weeks to tell us how you think we're doing. Knowing, because I knew what he'd done at Harvard 10 years before, that he would tell us that we were dinosaurs and that if we carried on like this, we would become extinct. But hearing it from the Dean of Harvard's medical school changed the way they thought about it and opened them to hearing it in ways that they wouldn't hear it from me, because they would just think it was my ideas or a bit off the wall. And then the second strategy was to take a team of 5 leading faculty members on a visit of 5 faculties of health sciences around the world, and to just, so that I'm not telling them this is how we have to do it, but just to show them how leading institutions are doing things differently, and that there's not one right way of doing it, that there are actually 5 different ways, they all have their merits, and it just helps loosen up thinking, open up the thinking. And we did something similar last year. I sent a team to Australia again, and they went around a number of universities to think about quality assurance, to think about issues like the use of information technology in teaching, They talked about things like graduate attributes. What do we really want from a graduate? Is it just the content, or how do you broaden that? And those are all issues that the Australian universities were dealing with in different ways. And I think the group came back with lots of new ideas, and they're now all working in different committees in different faculties. And there's not yet anything dramatic to show for it, but I think that the ideas percolate, and I've no doubt that those will be the seeds of change. So one needs a whole lot of different strategies to lead change, especially, as I say, in an institution like a university where you don't really have strong authority from the top.